Okay, folks, we had our first day one, even though it's not a 2 day event. It's a 2 week event. So shouldn't it be part one, part two? Either way, AEW stupid. We had, of course, our AEW championship defended on the first week of the New Year's Smash. Our weigh-in for the TNT Championship involving Darby Allin and Brian Cage. And, of course, Hikaru Shida versus Abaddon versus, for the AEW Women's Championship. That's technically overly the card. It gets more exceptionally interesting in the next week because, of course, Kenny Omega technically can't draw, so they can just force him over in the opening night. We also opened up with 8-man tag action. We had the Young Cucks and, of course, SCU later when you get released against the Acclaimed and 2 Hybrid. I mean, the Hybrid 2. They're garbage. Like, the match was average with the extent of everybody just immediately over the most of the foreseeable brawling. Slingshot, the cool slingshot cutter, DDT, that's my favorite move from Kazarian. Best moonsault over for the driver, for the Meltzer driver. Nearly some average cut-offs over for the finish. Especially a unique way how to counteract a springboard from Anthony Bowens. The match ends with the Young Bucks and SCU picking up a victory over a challenge for probably the next time they score out. SCU challenges the Young Bucks with saying if they ever lose another match, they will break up permanently. And over most of the pattern that most people, whenever they sacrifice something, get the championship, I already have low expectations even if they win the belts back or not. Either way, they're kind of better off with each other, even though they barely have television time to begin with. That's just my opinion on the matter. If you guys enjoyed it, I'm happy for you. The opening match was fair enough. I think it was just a bit too flippy over the cutters. Like Nick Jackson overselling his arm, and then he comes around just doing a Hurricane Rana's kick, and then a spear over to, I think Max Caster is his name is. We also had Jon Moxley returning back over to acclaimably challenge for the world, for trying to get back his world title, trying to give a bit of congrats over for Rey Fenix earning his title opportunity, and Omega is not safe, and he got him, and I'm your blind spot. He warned Kenny Omega. It was an average promo. And people be thinking, like, okay, Dean Ambrose is the same as Jon Moxley. And at least Jon Moxley, he makes himself a badass. He doesn't do that many comedical things unless he's with a lower tier guy that's not much of a wrestler. And at least he makes himself be taken more seriously. So I kind of, expect the character to actually be a decent, badass, like a top tier, top dude. I kind of like that with Moxley, and at least he's making himself acclaimed for the championship after a month off, because I think Renee has a kid or something. Decent promo. We also had one of my anticipated matchups, because we rarely see heavyweights bout off on AEW. Wardlow against Jake Hager over constant bashing of heads over the two, over most of their arguments over with MJF joining over the group. Then out of nowhere, after everybody cooled heads, Hager came out of nowhere just staring at Wardlow. They started coming to words until they get a one-on-one matchup. And the match was okay. Decent spine busters, counters over to the rear naked choke. Bulldog chokeholds where it looks like Wardlow was just really easily closed into the ropes. I think it's called an F4. I'm trying to remember the finish. I mean, the F10 for the victory. Oh, even though it looked a bit unimpressive because Hager's a bit heavier. The match was pretty okay. It was average brawling. You barely see a lot of, heavyweights bout off, so it's a bit more slower than the tempo, high-risk BS we had in, the opening of the show. or what we're gonna have at the main event, and I'm gonna complain the hell over the main event. Dude, I don't give a shit. So it was issued over that we have another segment involving the Inner Circle and moralizing over New Year's resolution and what's going to be different. Then we had MJF speaking over to Hager later on the show, bring up, okay, you lost, but you're still like one of the top guys over in Bellator, man. Be proud of yourself. And it's kind of a pattern because of course he did the same thing with Santana, so it's obvious that he's trying to be cool at nearly everybody part of the Inner Circle. We also had a weigh-in involving Darby Allin and Brian Cage that they're specifically 100 pound different, with like Cage 270 pounds. The same thing with Darby Allin, he's like 170. And just a major complaint. Everybody who cussed. Max Caster saying they were censoring fetish. They were late on trying to say bitch. They were late on Allen saying shit. Same thing with Moxley. It looked mad dumb. It just amateur hour, especially for a televised program that's live. You should know when your wrestler's about to cuss. Especially when Jericho says it, he gets no censor. Just dumb, weak timing over in censorship. So, not only has that happened, it ended up with Sting yet again coming around, just doing nothing, posing for the camera with the bat. Like, beat up somebody. It's like the fifth time already, and Sting, Brian Cage that keeps anticipating that he's gonna beat the piss out of Sting if he bothers in Team Taz business again. To fake punch the guy out the ring, or have him just beat up the guys with the bat with Darby Allin with the dumb skateboard. Do it. It was an average promo because I knew what we were getting with it, and it was basic enough, but it's not enticing enough because we already seen Darby Allin always being the disadvantage, but with Sting. So I still don't know what they're teasing over at this point, that he wants to fight Sting or he's just in a decent partnership with him. I'm not that enticed to know because we barely get that much intel. Understand nothing for certain. Sting's always unpredictable. Oh god, you're just making me miss when he was still on TNA. I didn't say Nitro because I'm not that old, guys. Cody Rhodes against Matt Sydal 1-on-1. The match was okay. I'll give it that. Average counters over with Meteora, Roundhouse. Cody cutter for a near 3 fall. Shooting Star Press got reversed over with the knees up. And then an average stopover with the Crossroads. The match was pretty alright. There was a move over with trying to strike Sydal from the outside. He accidentally hit Serpentico, a partner of dumbass Uncle Fester, autistic Luther, that comes around getting just jumping them after the post match until Cody and Matt fight them off. And then the worst splash, Vicky Guerrero's splash from WrestleMania 26 was better than what Snoop Dogg did. And the man is skinny, but at least he seems fit, other than Vicky Guerrero is. So that's a bit off-putting upon itself. So afterwards, we had the worst match of the show, and it's sad to say, Hikaru Shida versus Abaddon. And over most of the controversy over with Abaddon is that she doesn't take constructive criticism from experienced veterans of the business well. Over what Al Snow says about her, what other people say about her, she's just low-fit, fat boogeyman, Rosemary knockoff that got shooken up in a blender. With poor build, lack of any depth of her character, and she's coming around just jobbing out over with Hikaru Shida. And she's supposed to be this man-eating cannibal chick, zombie thingy that barely talks, other than just spitting out blood. I mean, say what you will about the Boogeyman, but at least he's memorable, he talks cool, he seems threatening, and he actually gives you nightmares. Abaddon looks like that weird chick that you know in Halloween from A Hot Topic. She doesn't seem interesting. The match was just like poorly executed finishes over with arm drags. Just consistent biting of the legs with with just red smears. She can't even make fake bite marks or something. There was we opened the show immediately over the entrance of Abaddon. She gets cracked in the head with a freaking kendo stick. So, okay, they just turned it up to 100 and then nothing else happened. The Tomoshi comes in later in the match, and it was just another win. So, over her being scared, over her trying to get mauled alive from this chick, and you'd think somebody like that's a complete savage, has no look for rest and no sells most of her kendo shots. She immediately loses in just under 50 minutes for a crap match. Abaddon sucks. I'm just saying, folks. Just one of the weakest matches in the card. We'll go up to our main event. That was, of course, Rey Fenix versus Kenny Omega for the World Championship. And if it was anything else, I wouldn't mind this as a lower card, mid card match for a lightweight championship. Counters over with super kicks. Unnecessary spots like this what kills it for me. I watched a YouTube clip of Karrion Kross versus his name used to be Punishment Martinez, Damian Priest, and he was doing some big moves, stopped him over with a big boot. Damian Priest went for a springboard. Okay, he's gonna go for a springboard clothesline. No, he goes for a springboard front senton over to Karrion Kross. He also does some heel kick for no reason. Immediately after taking a dragon suplex, snaps up to just kip up and hit him with a super kick. Several V-triggers. A little flip off of cutter. This is not high stakes. This is just another lower card match for a guy that's been screwed over the last couple weeks, trying to get a title opportunity. 450 splash nearly got cut off. His little knee strike, one shoulder driver thing got a near fall. Kenny kicks out. A crazy little reverse Frankensteiner. The match was getting pretty average, in my opinion. It just doesn't impress me. Eddie Guerrero frog splash with the knees up. 2 V-triggers and a 1 winged angel to finish it. Match was okay. A match over the standpoint of that is okay, it's cool lightweight moves. Not much story over the line involving Kenny Omega. There wasn't that much of a high stakes over the standpoint of, a world title defense in the opening part of the year. And it just made, because we know that Phoenix is probably not going to get that much time over the spotlight again, so it's just disappointing over the standpoint of this until, the rest of the Death Triangle gets assault backstage, and, Gallows and Anderson and Nick and Matt came out to help out with Kenny Omega beat the piss out of Phoenix. Plus Miro likes calling Chucky T now. Chucky. Oh my god, it's like Otis singing Chucky. That they're gonna have a match to see who's gonna be their young boy. Because of course Miro comes from being some European brute to you wanna be my young boy from Japan? Just menacing sexual tensions everywhere. A lot of onomatopoeias popping up. That's how bad it is, man. The show was a pure a 5. I don't give a crap about the Bullet Club because it's just the same. It's Bullet Club is everything that antithesis AEW. Bitter WWE employees that obviously knew they couldn't hack it. Average athleticism, no semblance of charisma or character except ripping off any other things like the suck it or the too sweet signs, and just it just felt so corny to me. Like when you see dudes, grown men wear this. And sure, Bullet Club, financially, they were doing decent business merchandising-wise, but in the mainstream ability, they just weren't cool, in my opinion. Like, until, like, Styles came, Gallows and Anderson, he was like, okay, you have Westerners disrupting what's primarily Japanese. And they're getting popular off that. And then they just still with the work rate crap. Like, we know that Impact is doing this partnership with AEW and stuff like this. I don't really care. Sorry to burst your bubble, folks. I'm not the biggest fan of Gallows and Anderson, especially for a cheater. I don't care about the Young Bucks. And just Omega leading the charge with this whole weeb infestation hand gesture, bicycle knee BS, Hadouken, finishing moves. It's just not going to entice more people to watch. Even if you try to make another glorification faction, just to make Kenny Omega's reign actually gain any relevance. And I understand, like, some fans of AEW wanted this from the start, but it just feels a bit forced over to me. Thanks, we already have a major heel faction with the Inner Circle. That's yet again taking some intergrinding bullcrap other than dominating the show. Like, Kenny, he's beaten before on pay-per-view. Proud and Powerful never won their tag belts before. Hager would like somebody important to beat after losing to Wardlow. And Sammy Guevara wants to make a name for himself. He can make average stories with that, as well as like a power struggle between MJF and Jericho over being the leader of the Inner Circle. That's gonna gather over viewers. I don't really give a damn about the Bullet Club reunion garbage. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Either way, if you guys enjoyed the part 1 of New Year's Smash for AEW Dynamite, please comment down in the comment section below. Either way, dislike or like, it's your opinion, and that's all that matters. So that's it coming from me.